Hello, Pastor Deborah here again. Yes, and we are in another word of encouragement video from Agape Love. Love is Here studio in the Zoom room. I'm still working to make it better. My green screen is giving me a little bit of difficulty, but I'm working on it and I'm learning. And I hope you are too. In this word of encouragement, number 15, we're going to look at some wonderful, wonderful words of encouragement by a young man who had been a shepherd. And this young man was taken out of the sheepfold, out of the wilderness, after he passed many tests to be a godly shepherd. He was moved in to be the shepherd of a nation, Israel, because he had passed his test. And God could trust him with property that was not his, that belonged to another, like the sheep who had belonged to his father. In this song that King David wrote to this God who promoted him, who he had met out on the many nights in the wilderness with the sheep, who had helped him fight off lions and tigers and bears, who had helped him rescue little baby lambs who had fallen over a cliff, and then helped him to throw a mighty slingshot with a rock empowered by the Holy Spirit to kill the mighty giant named Goliath. But then he was still under teachers and tutors and trainers for many years, for he had much to learn how to be a king. But he learned very early in his youth, as I hope that you do, from these words of encouragement. And the title of this word of encouragement video is, You, Little One, you in every nation, every tribe, every faith, every religion, every age, in the womb, out of the womb, living near death, in hospitals, in comas, in war, in refugee camps, you in high places of leadership. You are the center, the very fruit of King David's, God and Lord's heart's desire. Can you see King David's God back there? This video is a motion video from Pixabay, a wonderful ministry where you can get free motion videos like this one. And if you desire to donate to the creator, they have made a way when you download the video. So enjoy this word of encouragement and learn that you are the very center, the very heart and thoughts, the very apple, the fruit of God that was David's God and Lord. Psalm 17, 5 through 9. This was a prayer that King David prayed to his Lord and his God. Verse number 5. Hold up my goings in your paths of life, so that my footsteps slip not. Have you ever asked the God of King David to do that for you? Have you ever asked and even talked to the God of King David? He is never very far away. His rays of glory and righteousness and love are always shining out, just like our earthly sun is. He is here all around us if you look. Verse 6. I have called upon you, King David says. I have called on you, my Lord and my God. Have you called upon him as your Lord and your God yourself? Or do you call on another? Maybe your ancestors, maybe an animal that you believe is a God and that you pray and worship to and leave food for. Do you pray to a prophet to help you and guide you? Do you believe a prophet is God himself? Why would you need a prophet if you could hear, like King David, God's own voice for you? If you could see him for yourself, you do not need a prophet. If you ask him what's going on, what's going to happen, he'll tell you. You do not need another prophet to tell you. He will tell you himself. Maybe you seek the help and the guidance of a leader of your nation, of your community, of your family, or maybe your business leaders. Or maybe you just repeat scriptures you have learned in your religion. Or maybe you count beads, or you light candles to saints and ask them to help you. Are the saints like your ancestors? Who are you seeking? King David did none of that. He did not seek his ancestors. When he was out in the wilderness with the sheep, there were no candles to light. He had no beads to count. He did not pray to the animals to help him. He prayed to his God that he saw in the stars and in the strength and in the quiet times when he was alone with another's property. Maybe you just read a book, or maybe you look at nature, or maybe you pray to so-called global leaders, or maybe to hidden and dark things of the night. Maybe you pray to statues. You rub the foot of a statue or kiss its feet. Maybe you carry around a rabbit's foot. Yeah, people do many strange things, except to call on the God of King David, the God of the Holy Bible, the God that you see sort of his reflection right here in this motion video. Or do you call on another God? Maybe the God of this world. His name is Satan, and he has a kingdom here, and it is governing politics and business and rules and education and business. He's the God of greed. He's the God of lust of the eyes, pornography, human trafficking. He's the God of death. He's the God of total control and oppression, and the God of elites and the God of servants. Maybe you pray to that God. King David's Lord and God, David says to us that his God would hear him. And David prayed this, "O God, incline and turn your ears unto me, and hear my speech, my voice, my prayers, my words, my silent cries. Can you see my tears of my sorrow of my heart? Can a statue see that? Does the God of this world, Satan, care if you cry out to another God, or will he get mad at you if you even think about it?" Verse 7, reveal your marvelous loving kindness, O you that save and redeem, that heal and deliver, and set me free by your right hand, where I have put my trust in you from those that rise up against me. Have you ever done that with King David's God and his Lord? Or do you seek another? Verse 8, Keep me, O Lord and God, as the apple, the center, the very fruit of your eye, your heart's desires, your prophetic words. Hide me under the shadow of your wings as a mother hen with her chickens. God desires to wrap his light, his wisdom and knowledge, his strength and power around you to protect you. I just had that happen. Satan was coming after me in the spirit realm. My angel Samuel covered me with his wings and took me off to the secret place, somewhere in the kingdom of heaven, not even on earth. Satan was coming with a horde of his demons. But I was protected spiritually. I still laid in my bed in my home, but he wasn't looking for that. He was looking for my spirit. And he was coming. But I was taken and put under the wings of God, one of his angels. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 32:10. King David isn't speaking to us here, but Moses, who brought the Israelites out of the land of Egypt, is. And he is talking to us at this time for God to the people. The people had not yet heard God's voice for themselves. Moses had. And they were actually afraid of this God of Moses because he is powerful. When he came down on the top of a mountain to meet them, the lightning, the fire, and it's like having a volcano erupt, and it frightened the people. It didn't frighten Moses. God was coming to talk. So they ran to their tents and said, Moses, Moses, protect us. You go talk to him. And then you tell us what he says. That's where the prophets began. People who do not hear God's voice. David was not like that, and neither was Moses. So Moses says, you found me in a spiritually desert land. That's where you are. You are in a land that's a desert, in a wilderness. There's no water. There's no shade. He's not there. And in the waste and empty, desolate, howling wilderness of thirst and hunger, and the land was filled with darkness and violence and death and fear. And you found me there, and you brought me truth and water and life. Moses went on and said, you have led me about. You have taught me and instructed me, even when I didn't know it was you. God does that to all of humanity. He helps us every way he can. And when we don't recognize it, he helps our conscience to realize we have violated others. We start feeling remorse. Even a soldier who has violated the spirit of life itself in killing will have a conscience. Others will not. Their conscience is so seared, darkened, hard. Nothing bothers it. But you are teaching us through life and circumstances and animals and nature. You are helping to lead us and guide us to yourself, where we can pray like King David did. And I was always being watched over, even in the land of wilderness and howling winds, by you as the very center of your thoughts, the very apple, the fruit that you desire to come forth, that you desire to redeem and save and birth again, back to your original pattern, back as we were in the beginning, your image and likeness, your child, spiritually, filled with the spirit of life, overflowing into our soul and our physical body. Moses knew that. The people didn't, and maybe you don't. Now let's go back to Psalm 17. We were working 5 through 9, and we are on verse 9. Protect me from the wicked, King David prayed, that spiritually oppress me, from my deadly enemies, from death, hell, and the grave, the spiritual separation from you and your love and light. Help me, God, King David was praying. Help me with your protection and your loving kindness. Is your God loving towards you? Can he protect you? Will he be there to take your hand when death comes and escort you into his everlasting life, into himself? Or is he silent? And you're just hoping that you can please him by being obedient and giving him food to the animals, or kissing his feet, or lighting a candle to him, or just repeating and repeating and bowing and bowing and bowing. That's not this thing that David had with this God. He read no book to him. He wrote the songs from his heart. Can you write a song to this King David's God and Lord from your own heart? Protect me, David prays, from Satan, his demons and evil, wicked spirits, from other evil human spirits who serve him. Protect me from the darkness, the ignorance, the poison of his words that come, that attack, that seek to enter my soul and mind and enslave my free will. Help me so my hunger will be satisfied. My thirst will be quenched. I will be free from slavery and captivity to ignorance and the fear of death, and the lust of my eyes and flesh and physical body will not control me anymore. They will not rule my physical body or my soul and place my spirit into the kingdom of darkness. Protect me, Lord, King David prays, from these enemies that compass me, surround me, attack me constantly, even in my sleep, wherever I go. Yes, King David called, prayed, and sang to his God and his Lord. Can you? He prayed for help, for protection, and God would say, you are the center of my attention. All my thoughts are centered on you. My heart's desires are all for you. My prophetic words I speak are all for you. My purposes I have, they are for you. Come, be like King David. Be encouraged and pray to the same God, the same King and Lord of the great kingdom of heaven, the great I am, Jehovah. Pray, seek, you will find. He is not far from you. Be encouraged. King David found him out in the stars with the sheep. King David knew him, and you can come to know him too, and he will help you. He will not leave you. He's never left you alone. Through all your years, even in the womb, he was there waiting for you. When you were born, he was there. Oh, you weren't born good. You had a lot of issues. But be encouraged. That God of King David, that Lord, you are the center of his thoughts. You are all he thinks about. He cries over you. He wants to rejoice and laugh, dance with you. He wants to be your father, your protector and provider, your healer and deliverer, if you'll let him. Be encouraged. Just ask him. Pray to him. Lift up your thoughts as King David did. Call on his name. Call on the God and the Lord of King David. He will answer you. He is not far. And you will be surprised. He'll answer you back. You can even ask him to give you a sign, a confirmation. He will. He does not want you to live in unbelief or doubt, but in trust in him, that he is who he is. He is not the God that you probably have been praying to. He is not the God of this evil, wicked world. He is not the God of religion. He is not the God that lusts after money and sex and war and land. He owns the earth. This earth we're on, all the cities will be destroyed one day. But he will create a new earth and put all of us who are brand new, with new immortal bodies, new minds, new souls, a new spirit within us, back on a new earth. He will have his city of Jerusalem, the city of peace, inside of us. And he will dwell and live with us. And there will be no more death, no more demons, no more darkness. And he will have the desires of his heart with you as his child, ruling and reigning, where he desires you to rule and reign as a king, like King David. Be encouraged. He is there, and he is thinking of you. Love always and forever, Pastor Deborah, from the Zoom studio of Agape Love. Love is here. And I'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.